Look, nothing's going to happen until Putin and I get together, okay?
Top U.S. diplomat Marco Rubio has said he does not have high expectations for the Ukraine-Russia peace talks scheduled to take place in Turkey. He stated that progress is unlikely unless U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin meet face-to-face. "I don't think we're going to have a breakthrough here until President Trump and President Putin interact directly on this topic," Rubio said following a meeting of NATO foreign ministers in southern Turkey.
And frankly, at this point, I think it's abundantly clear that the only way we're going to have a breakthrough here is between President Trump and President Putin. It's going to require that level of engagement to have a breakthrough in this matter. I don't think anything productive is actually going to happen from this point forward until they engage in a very frank and direct conversation, which I know President Trump is willing to do.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed that Ukraine would send a delegation to the Istanbul talks. However, Zelensky criticized Russia for sending what he called a low-level delegation to the discussions. The Russian delegation is led by presidential aide Vladimir Medinsky, who insisted that the team from the Kremlin possessed all the necessary competencies. Earlier in the day, President Trump, who is currently touring the Middle East, also indicated that significant progress was unlikely without an in-person meeting between himself and President Putin. When asked by the BBC aboard Air Force One whether he was disappointed by the composition of the Russian delegation, Trump responded, "Look, nothing's going to happen until Putin and I get together," he said.
Nothing's going to happen until Putin and I get together, okay?
"He wasn't going if I wasn't there, and I don't believe anything's going to happen whether you like it or not until he and I get together," Trump added.
And obviously he wasn't going to go. He was going to go, but he thought I was going to go. He wasn't going if I wasn't there. And I don't believe anything's going to happen, whether you like it or not, until he and I get together.
"But we're going to have to get it solved because too many people are dying."
But we're going to have to get it solved because too many people are dying.
Delegations from Turkey, the United States, Ukraine, and Russia were expected to meet in Istanbul on Thursday. This would be the first direct Ukraine-Russia peace talks since 2022. Some media reports now suggest the talks may take place on Friday. President Vladimir Putin initially proposed the talks for May 15th in Istanbul. This proposal came in response to calls from European leaders in Ukraine for a 30-day, unconditional ceasefire. Following his bilateral meeting with Turkish President Erdogan in Ankara, Zelensky accused Moscow of showing disrespect toward Trump and Erdogan.